Hey everyone, this is Ellie Mae with Silhouette Secrets Plus, and today I am here with a video on will it work. So I just did a recording and I put it out on Instagram as a reel on cutting glitter cardstock, and I was using a sticky mat, and somebody mentioned this would be a great way for the new electrostatic bed to work instead of having to peel off all of those little glitter things. So I'm going to test it. I'm going to see if it'll work. I have a couple tips for you first with your glitter cardstock. Not all glitter cardstock cuts well. Glitter is usually made out of plastics or even metal flakes, so it can be very difficult to cut. I am using a glitter cardstock that is from close to my heart. It is a fine glitter, and it's a low shed, which means that there is some glitter excess that you'll see spread around after your cut, but it's a really clean cut and I know it can cut. So the first thing I would recommend is using a glitter cardstock that you know will cut cleanly and smoothly with a sticky mat. So with an adhesive mat. That's going to be very important because if you can't cut it with an adhesive mat, the chances are you're not going to be able to cut it with the electrostatic bed. Now I have a couple concerns here that I'm going to voice ahead of time. So the first one is going to be that here is a look at my design. With the electrostatic bed, it works off of an electrostatic charge that is built between the material that is laid on top of the electrostatic bed. So it has to securely hold the materials with that electrostatic charge. As it is being cut, the smaller the pieces are, the smaller the surface area is on that piece. That means that there's not much surface area for the electrostatic bed to maintain that charge, which means you can get movement when it's being cut. Now I am going to test with both machines. So I'm going to use the Cameo 5. When I tested this with the sticky mat, or the adhesive mat, it took about 45 minutes for my entire design to cut. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to have the full step-by-step cutting process because 45 minutes is a long time. The Curio 2 is a bit slower of a machine, so I'm expecting it to take even longer. So I'm going to compare both of those and I'm going to see if it will cut. So first, make sure you know your glitter cardstock is cuttable with your machine. Next, have a dedicated glitter blade. Glitter eats blades. Literally, it can actually eat it. It will take chunks out of your blade, especially if you're trying to use a thicker glitter paper, thicker glitter that's on the paper. You'll see all kinds of different glitter cardstocks. Some have a rougher texture than others. This one is a very fine glitter, low shed. Again, all the links are going to be in the description below. I also have additional information on tips for the electrostatic bed, but I want to see if this will work. So I am going to be using the same color and the same product to test on both of these. Now the other thing I am going to do is I am going to use a little bit of washi tape and I'm going to secure my glitter cardstock on my mat or on my bed even more, just because I want to set this up for the best success possible. And we're going to see if it'll cut. So my predictions are that I'm going to get movement when this cuts with these small pieces. As you can see in my design here on the Silhouette Studio software, the small pieces may move as it's being cut. Now, especially with the Cameo 5, because you have it rolling in and out of your machine, that could be problematic. So we're going to see what happens. So let's take a look at comparing the Cameo 5 with the electrostatic bed and the Curio 2 with the flat bed of the electrostatic bed. And we'll see what happens. So the first thing for success with your Silhouette electrostatic bed is getting it set up properly. And you need to have a good static connection or charge between the protective mat and also your materials. So you'll see me reposition this sheet of glitter cardstock several times. And then for my best success, I am going to use washi tape. It's the Silhouette tape. And I'm securing that to my mat. I did this with both the Cameo 5 and the Curio 2 just to help it have the best chance. And then cross my fingers, see if this is going to cut. I already know it's going to cut on an adhesive cutting mat, so I know the machine can do it. and it did cut, and I'm going to lift it up here in a second, and all the pieces there fell off. So we're going to zoom out a little bit, and I'll show you. Take the washi tape off, save that because you can reuse it again. And then glitter creates such a mess. While it did cut and it worked, it also has a lot more of a mess that you need to clean up before you use your machine again. So the glitter sticks to that protective mat. Glitter is very staticky, so it does stick very well. You also need to clean out the channels and clean off the bed of that. So I have a couple methods that I used. For everything, it was about the same amount of time for cleanup, whether I used the adhesive cutting mat or I used the electrostatic bed. Both were about the same time cleanup wise for each project. So I used compressed air, and then that didn't take everything off. So then I grabbed a lint roller and I cleaned the machine off with that. Any glitter that is inside of the machine could affect your future cut results and your blade that you are using as well. So then here is the finished cut. It did cut, same as with the adhesive cutting mat. So then the test came with the Curio 2. The big factor here that I wanted to know was if it was going to take longer, because the Curio 2 is a bit slower because it has that long arm and it moves versus the Cameo 5 that it rolls through. So in the end, it was actually the exact same amount of time cut-wise for the actual cutting process. Now, the Curio 2 has this height detection that you need to do prior to starting your cut. So I first secured everything well with the washi tape. And then since it is a shiny, glittery surface, I needed to get a piece of copy paper so I could do the height detection on that, and so it would be accurate. For the height detection, a shiny surface will reflect and it would not give you an accurate reading. You can see I'm taking several readings here just to make sure that I'm getting an accurate reading, and I prefer to do the manual operation and then move that piece of copy paper before you get going. Now, I also want to say again, I recommend a dedicated blade for glitter, and I will share with you why at the very end, but it does dull and eat blades. So it does cut. And we're going to see the process here as it cuts along. It does a good job, and it does the same exact job. Again, the timing was exactly the same for the cut, but the setup is a little bit different for the Curio 2. Now here in the middle of the cut, I did see more movement, and it'll show up right about here. That piece there, you can see it moved. Again, the surface area when you are working with the electrostatic bed, the smaller you go, that electrostatic charge isn't held in place all the time. So you want to be careful, and it will be design dependent. But it did end up working out. So even though those pieces moved, and here's another piece that's going to move as well in the video right there. With the Curio 2, it's not as big of a deal because the head is moving and not the actual bed of the electrostatic bed. So you can see I had quite a bit of movement there, but it was still able to complete the cut and gave me a good cut. So then it's just finishing up, and again with glitter cardstock it does a double cut. You want to test cut your settings with all materials as always, and this was just a test to see if it would work with the electrostatic bed and how well that would work. So it's going to finish up here, and I'll show a close-up of this movement in the design. So you can see here, even in the top corner, plus you get this glitter. This is just from the cut. This isn't even me removing it yet. So then with the Curio 2, I will state right now, I will probably never cut glitter cardstock again with the Curio 2 because of the debris and the glitter. So all of the pieces just fell out of the sheet of cardstock, so the cut was very, very good, but there is glitter everywhere now. As you saw in that close-up, there was glitter off of the electrostatic bed. There's glitter at the bottom of the blade. We'll see another close-up here in just a second. There is glitter everywhere on this machine. So the time it took me to actually clean up after I cut, I don't think that was a saved benefit by not using a sticky mat. And then here's a close-up of the glitter debris. Now, again, this was a low shed fine glitter, so other brands would even be worse. But you want to keep the glitter away from that cutting channel as well. And that's the reason I won't use it on my Curio 2 again. So I tried this little tool. It's a paper tool that was supposed to help get all those bits out. It didn't really help that much. I could do it faster myself. Again, the time it took to clean up was about the same as using your sticky adhesive cutting mat. And then again, I used a lint roller to clean up my entire workspace with this glitter, and then took a vacuum as well, because you want to make sure not to get any debris in those channels on that Curio 2, or it could affect your housing and how that moves. So I had to really clean this machine up, clean the end of that blade off because there was glitter everywhere, and make sure to clean out the blade adjustment hole as well. And now I have a whole Ziploc bag full of glitter confetti. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below and check the description for more information. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.